Right now, your phone is probably within arm's reach. Maybe it's face down. Maybe it's in your pocket. Maybe it's lighting up every few minutes like it has something urgent to say. And here's the strange part. Even when it's silent, you still feel it. A tiny pull, a background awareness, as if it's not an object, as if it's a presence. If someone forgot their wallet at home, it's annoying. If someone forgot their phone at home, they turn around like they left a child on the bus. And you might tell yourself, that's just convenience. Maps, messages, work. But convenience doesn't explain the emotion. So why does it feel personal? Why does your brain react to a phone the way it reacts to a person? Because in a very real, measurable way, it does. Your brain doesn't experience a phone. It experiences a social environment compressed into glass, and it treats that environment like it can hurt you, or abandon you, or reward you, or judge you. This isn't a metaphor. It's a design collision between ancient social circuitry and modern technology. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. To understand why your phone feels alive, we have to start with a simple fact. Your brain is not optimized for truth. It's optimized for survival. And for humans, survival has always meant one thing: other people. For most of human history, being socially disconnected wasn't a mood. It was a death sentence. No group meant no food, no protection, no warmth, no mating, no future. So evolution built you a brain that constantly runs a quiet calculation. Where am I in the group? Who's close to me? Who's pulling away? Who's paying attention? You are, in a sense, a relationship detecting machine. And your phone is the most relationship-shaped object ever invented. Think about what your phone actually delivers. Not information, not content. It delivers signals, tiny cues that in the ancestral world could only come from living beings. A vibration is a tap on the shoulder. A notification sound is your name being called. A red badge is someone waiting. A typing bubble is someone about to speak. Even the layout is social. Faces, names, threads, a permanent record of being included or excluded. And your brain doesn't politely categorize this as digital. It categorizes it as social. In the 1990s, researchers Byron Reeves and Clifford Nass popularized something that sounds silly until you watch it happen: the computers are social actors effect. In study after study, people treated computers like they had feelings. They were polite to them. They avoided insulting them. They responded to them like they were social entities, not because people were confused, but because the social brain is automatic. It fires first, and it doesn't ask permission. Now take that effect and add 3 upgrades. 1. A device that is always with you. 2. Feeds you human voices and faces all day. 3. And can reach into your pocket at any moment. At that point, the question isn't, why does it feel like a person? The question is, how could it not? But social cues are only the first layer. The deeper layer is the reward system. Because your phone doesn't just feel social, it feels unpredictable. And unpredictability is gasoline for the brain. In behavioral psychology, there's a principle called intermittent reinforcement. It's what makes slot machines so hard to walk away from. You don't get rewarded every time. You get rewarded just often enough that your brain starts chasing. Your phone is an intermittent reinforcement machine in your pocket. Most checks are nothing special. No new message, no interesting update, no payoff. But then, randomly, something hits. A text you wanted, a like from someone specific, a comment that feels like approval, a piece of news that spikes your adrenaline, a video that makes you laugh. And the brain learns the rule: check again, because the next one could matter. This is why it's so hard to stop checking, even when you don't want to, because you're not checking for information, you're checking for social reward. and your brain treats social reward as survival reward. That's also why just turn off notifications only helps a little, because even without the ping, the expectation remains. You don't just respond to signals, you start generating them in your head. That phenomenon even has a name: phantom vibration syndrome. People feel their phone buzz when it didn't. No message arrived, no one reached out, but your brain predicted a social event and briefly hallucinated the cue, which is unsettling if you think about it, because hallucination is what the brain does when it's convinced something is real. So your phone has two powers. It speaks in social cues and it runs on unpredictable rewards. But the reason it starts feeling like a person, not just a casino, is the third layer: attachment. Attachment is the bond system that forms between you and the people who keep you safe. In infancy, it's literally life or death. If the caregiver is near, you calm down. If the caregiver disappears, your nervous system activates. That system doesn't vanish when you grow up. It just upgrades. It attaches to friends, partners, groups, status, community. And now, increasingly, it attaches to the device that controls access to all of that. Your phone is where your people live. It's where your plans happen. It's where approval shows up. It's where rejection shows up. It's where silence shows up. That means separation from your phone can trigger something that looks a lot like social separation. Not because the phone itself is lovable, but because the phone is the gatekeeper. This is why no signal doesn't feel like no service. It feels like being cut off. And here's a small detail that matters more than most people realize. Many apps don't just deliver messages. They deliver presence indicators: seen, last active, typing, read receipts, online status. In real life, you can't see someone's attention that precisely. You can't watch their availability flicker on and off. You can't quantify their silence. But on a phone, you can. And your social brain treats those signals as if they're facial expressions. A read receipt with no reply becomes a micro-rejection. A typing bubble that disappears becomes a cliffhanger. Someone being online but not answering becomes a story your brain writes without evidence. And because humans are meaning-making machines, you don't experience it as data. You experience it as intention. They ignored me. They're mad. I said something wrong. They're choosing not to respond. Maybe none of that is true, but the attachment system isn't built to wait for perfect information. It's built to react fast to social risk. Now combine that with the reward layer, and something weird happens. Your phone becomes a slot machine that also decides whether you're loved. That's when it stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like a relationship. But if phones can feel like people, why do they often make people feel lonely? Because social simulation is not the same as social nourishment. There's a difference between being around signals of social life and being securely held inside social life. A message thread can't regulate your nervous system the way a real voice can. A like can't replace being known. A feed can't replace belonging. But it can imitate them just enough to keep you reaching. And over time, your brain adapts to that imitation. It starts to expect constant social input, constant novelty, constant checking. Silence begins to feel wrong. Stillness begins to feel empty. And boredom, once the doorway to reflection, starts to feel like a problem to solve with a scroll. This is the hidden trade. The phone reduces friction in communication, but it can increase friction inside your mind because it keeps your social brain slightly activated, not in crisis, just not fully at rest, always monitoring, always waiting, always half ready for the next signal. And that changes how you experience your life. Moments stop being complete on their own. They become raw material. A meal becomes a photo. A thought becomes a tweet. A walk becomes a story. A feeling becomes content. And if you're always turning life into something to transmit, it becomes harder to simply live it. So, what do you do with this? Do you smash your phone with a rock and move into the woods? Probably not. Also, you would immediately need the phone to look up how to survive in the woods. The real solution is smaller, and it's more psychological. You have to stop treating your phone like a person by treating your people like people again. Because the phone isn't the attachment, it's the doorway. So you change what the doorway leads to. You remove the most parasitic social cues, read receipts, and last seen don't create closeness. They create surveillance. You change your checking from a compulsion to a ritual, not whenever I feel something, but at specific times. You build pockets of your day where you're unreachable on purpose, not as self-improvement theater, but to teach your nervous system a forgotten lesson. Nothing is happening, and you are still safe. And maybe the most important shift is this. When you feel the pull to check, ask what you're actually checking for. Information, or reassurance, connection, or relief from uncertainty. Because if it's reassurance, the phone can only give you a cheap version, the kind that expires in minutes. Real reassurance comes from real bonds, from conversations that resolve, from presence that doesn't flicker, from people who don't show up as badges. Your brain thinks your phone is a person because for the first time in history, an object can interrupt you like a person, reward you like a person, reject you like a person, and follow you everywhere like a person. It's the most socially convincing object we've ever made, and that's why it's so powerful, and why it's so hard to put down. Not because you're weak,
but because the oldest parts of you are doing exactly what they were designed to do. Track the tribe, protect your place in it, and panic when the signals go quiet. The phone didn't invent those instincts. It just learned how to speak their language. And once you realize that, you get something back. You get to decide which person gets your attention. The rectangle in your hand, or the living humans around you, or the one human who has been with you the entire time, sitting quietly behind your eyes, waiting for a moment of darkness, a moment of silence, a moment with nothing to check, so you can finally hear yourself think.